I don't see you. T'as fait start? I don't see you.
C'est marqué live.
Adriana, do you see Josiane?
No. Broadcast will begin soon. I see.
Yeah. So you can start.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Q&A. I'm Josiane Villeneuve, recruiter at Abacus. So this Q&A sessions today is to talk about the video that we've done regarding the Quebec interview process and preparation. Thank you to be here. I hope you had a really great day at work. Before we start, and I forget, I would like to remind you to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and our Google Plus page. It will be our last video Q&A of this year. We will probably coming back next year with another format because this type of video hasn't been really popular so far. So we would like to address this with you. So if you have comments, advice, things that you would like us to share with you or to prepare with you, we're here to answer your needs. So feel free to contact us and share with you any thought or anything that you would like us to do for you. So let's start with the Quebec interview process and preparation. I will summarize the video that I've done in French, but I will do it in English for those who are understand more the English. And after this, I will be answering the questions that you've asked through the Excel sheet. And I'm gonna ask them in French for the French question and the English for the English question. In the meantime, feel free to share live your questions. David is here with me to take your question, and I will answer them at the end of that Q&A. So regarding the interview process and preparation to Quebec market, what's usually an interview process over here in Montreal, in Quebec in general? So when you send an application to a job posting, you can expect to have as a first contact an email or a phone call to schedule a telephone interview with you. It's always important to be available and to be ready for a telephone interview. So if a recruiter or a company calls you to do a phone interview and you're not in a place where you can easily talk or share information about your profile, you can always let them know that you would like to schedule a time to talk and you're not in a place or it's not a moment for you to discuss about your profile and about your application. And usually what a company or recruiter can ask you in a telephone interview. Usually, they want to know if you seems to be a good fit with the company, with the job requirements and the responsibilities. They're not there to ask you in details everything about your profile. They're more here to assess in general if your profile, if your communication, if your background seems to be a good fit with what they're looking for. So they will, of course, ask you questions in English and in French if the English communication and French communication is important. English if it's only English, and French is only French. But they will, of course, ask you and assess your communication in French and in English. After this, they will verify overall your profile. How many years of experience do you have? With which technologies do you have experience? Do you have this type of experience or this type of experience? Have you worked with that type of project or with that type of technology? And they will overall see if you experience communication, and they can ask you as well information about certification or diploma that you can have. So usually a phone interview is between 10 to 20 minutes, I would say. And after this, they will say to you thank you for your time. We will get back to you if we would like to schedule an in-person interview and so on. Usually when they don't schedule right away an in-person interview, it's because the interview or your profile is not a really good fit with what they're looking for. Or they maybe would like to do a bunch or telephone interviews and take their decision after. but like it's two possibilities. But when your profile seems to be a very good fit with what they're looking for, they will right away schedule a in-person interview. And if it's a recruiter, the recruiter will schedule an in-person interview with you to know more about you and to see if they can have opportunities with clients to offer to you. After the phone interview, you have the in-person interview. Usually in Montreal, you can expect to have, I would say, 1 to 2 in-person interview before the company takes a decision, make a decision about if they would like to make an offer and bring you on board in the company. You can expect to have more, like it's a general basis, 1 or 2, but we know companies that have like 3, 4, 5 interviews in the process. It's possible, but it's not the majority of the time. And when you go in in-person interview, you can expect to have technical test as well, technical interview. It can be different depending on the company. It can be for programmer coding test by computer, like purely coding at the company, like with a short project to do. It can be on a whiteboard, like someone can ask you questions and you need to write, to draw on the whiteboard the solution, the architecture, like the infrastructure, like depending of the position. It can be as well multiple choice questions. It can be that as well. And it can be only oral question with technical people, the senior developer, the senior system administrator, depending of the position. And after this, when you have done all the in-person interviews, they're gonna make a decision if they move forward with you or if they think that your profile is not what they're looking for the moment. In terms of feedback, like usually companies give feedback, but sometimes you don't have like a really specific feedback regarding why you were not a good fit for the position. You can always reach out to the HR person to ask more detail about why, to improve your technical interview skills, to improve your technical interview skills, and so on. It's possible to do this. Now, how you prepare for a phone interview, for an in-person interview, how you do that. It's really important for the telephone interview. Like I said at the beginning, you need to be in a position where you can answer questions, where you feel free to share information and so on. And if you're not in a place and it's not a great moment for you to answer questions, just reschedule the phone interview with the person. And if you get a call for a phone interview and you don't remember the position, you don't remember the company because you sent too many applications and you don't really remember, it's not a great time for you as well to do the telephone interview. Just reschedule and take the time to go on your application, review the job descriptions, go on the website of the company, get a sense of what they do, the kind of projects that they do, the product that they have, the service that they have, like get more information about the company. And you can as well prepare questions for the person who will call you to know more about the position, more about the company, to see if the work environment or the company, what they offer is a good fit with what you would like to have. And when you have done that, make sure to go over the requirements. Make sure that the skills or the technologies that it's been a while since you didn't touch something specifically, that you brush up on that technology. Make sure that you understand all the responsibilities, and make sure as well that you are in control of your career history. Make sure you can talk easily about your projects, your work environment, your technical environment, your technical responsibilities. Make sure you can share with the person. And then if you prepare and for the telephone interview that way, it's a good start to succeed in telephone interview. And then when you ask for an in-person interview, make sure that the information that you got from the HR person or the recruiter, that you you review that, you review it, and you make sure that to do the next step and find more information about the company, about why your profile is a good fit with the position, and prepare technically, because most of the time you will have technical tests. I would say probably 90 to 95% of the companies make technical tests. It's very important for them to know technically what you're able to do and if you are a good fit with the company. So make sure when you pass the phone interview, you go back to work and you make sure that everything, all the technologies implicated in the job description, you are in control of it. And that if you don't know, you research and you make sure that at least you can demonstrate the knowledge and you can demonstrate that you are interested by the position, even you don't have a specific experience or specific technology, that you've done a bit the preparation, and you can share that at least you're interested to learn and you've done like the preparation and you have like in control of like you have at least the knowledge and you know that it's part of the job. And then when you've done the in-person interviews and the technical interviews, you're gonna have to wait till the person make a decision about your profile, and then it will be all the offer stage of the process. Now I'm gonna answer the questions that you ask before the Q&A. So the first question that we got is, at which stage of the interview process the salary is negotiated? It's a very good question. Usually, you can have the question during the telephone interview or the in-person, what's your salary expectation? But if the person doesn't ask you during the telephone or the in-person, it will be at the end of the process. They can ask you, so what's your salary expectation? And when you give them, they make an offer in line with the evaluation that they've made of your profile and with the salary scale for the position within the company. And the negotiation, when you receive a first offer, the negotiations start there. And it's important that you know, if after a first offer, if you say, I would like to negotiate my salary, it's because you say no to the first offer and you may lose the opportunity. Like often the company will understand that you're trying to negotiate, but when you say, I would like to have that salary instead of that one, it's because you kind of refuse the first offer and you make a counter offer. And you need to be aware of that it's part of the negotiation. But the negotiation, it's something that we do often in our market. It's not something that when you receive an offer you take it as is and you don't negotiate. There's other things that you can negotiate as well in a job offer, because the salary is not the only thing that is part of the compensation that we call the overall compensation. We include in that vacation, sick days, personal days, insurance package, if the company has a retirement plan, like everything that you can have like money related to it. It's part of the negotiation. So if you cannot negotiate the salary, you can negotiate the other things included in your job offer. The other question that we got: how often in percentage do the job openings usually require a face-to-face interview? Is it a good idea to try to schedule interviews while you are in Canada for just a few days on vacation? Good questions. How often in percentage do the job openings usually require a face-to-face interview? I would say that it's almost 100%. It's rare that a company will make a decision without having met with the person in person. Like it can be a remote process by Skype, by webcam, by Hangout, like everything related to web, it can be this, but at least the company sees you. So it's a sort of face-to-face interview. It's a remote process, but it's a face-to-face interview. But I would say that I don't want to tell you 100%, probably 99%, but most of the interview process will include a face-to-face interview. The other question is it a good idea to try to schedule interviews while you are in Canada for just a few days on vacation? It's very hard to answer that question because you need to make sure that you plan everything accordingly and so on. But I would say that if you have received your visa and you're still in your country and you would like to start looking for a job remotely before moving, you can start applying to jobs, and you can try to align this with your vacation time to do face-to-face interviews. But it can be hard to do this. Like, everything needs to be aligned, but it's something that you can try. But when you apply remotely, make sure that it's clear in your application that you have a visa, it's a permanent visa, it's an open work visa for temporary visa, but you have the right to work in Canada. Because often we don't really see this in the application, and it's something very important for an employer to know if they need to sponsor a work visa or if you have already the right to work in Canada. So it's something that you need to share when you send an application and you're still abroad. What's the best dressing code to go to an interview? I would say that a rule of thumb is like casual dressing, like professional casual, business casual. Thank you, David. Like, I would say that maybe for government and for bank, it can be like a jacket and a tie, and like the suit can be good. But on a general basis, for any kind of company in Montreal, like a shirt, nice pants, nice shoes can be very good for an interview. Don't wear jeans, even if like the company, you can, when you work there, you can wear jeans because it's permitted. Like in an interview, you always want to show the professional in you, and you want to show your professionalism, and you go there like with the professional, the IT professional, and not like someone who would like to work there and you like, you don't look really professional. Like it's the first impression that they will have about you, so it's very important to show this. Maintenant, une question en français. Comment préparer un entretien d'embauche sur Skype ou n'importe quel entretien d'embauche par webcam? Je vous dirais que c'est probablement pareil à une entrevue en personne, l'entrevue par Skype. La seule chose que je vous dirais, c'est de vous assurer avant de faire l'entrevue que vous avez une bonne connexion, que votre Skype, que votre Hangout, n'importe quel outil que vous allez utiliser pour faire la webcam, que l'outil fonctionne, que la connexion que vous avez est bonne et qu'on est capable de bien communiquer avec vous. Il arrive souvent que l'on doit replanifier des entrevues à cause de ces petits détails-là et ça peut devenir difficile et lourd pour un processus d'embauche. Donc, je vous dirais que par Skype, vous faites la même chose. Vous recherchez sur la compagnie, vous prenez en compte la description de poste, les responsabilités techniques, les requis pour le poste. Vous faites la même préparation. Il faut juste vous assurer que lorsque vous faites l'entrevue, vous êtes dans un endroit qui peut avoir l'air professionnel, que vous êtes aussi habillé de manière professionnelle, que vous n'avez pas une manière de vous habiller qui peut... C'est comme si vous allez en entrevue en personne. Donc, habillez-vous de la même manière, même si c'est sur Skype, faites la même préparation, mais assurez-vous que vous avez une bonne connexion et que l'outil que vous utilisez pour faire la webcam, c'est Skype, que tout est en bon fonctionnement et que vous pouvez bien communiquer avec la personne. The other question that we have is how to talk about myself. This is a very good question, and I think it's part of your preparation. Like, you need to be in control of your career story, but you need to be in control of like yourself, like how you would describe your personality, what you find difficult in a work environment, what you find difficult to work in a team. Like, you need to ask you those questions before the interview, and you need to be able to refer to situations that happened in the past to you and how did you resolve it, and so on. It's super important to do that preparation for technical, for like the job, the companies, but for yourself as well. It's kind of information that we would like to have when you do a telephone or an in-person interview. They try to know as much as possible about you, if you will be a good fit with the team, with the values of the company, with the work environment, and so on. So they will ask you questions about your personality, about yourself, about how did you work in the past in that environment, what have you done, and so on. So you need to ask you those questions before going an interview. And how to talk about yourself. You will talk about yourself answering the question of the person, but you need to ask you that type of questions. And by the way, after this Q&A, we will share with you as a follow-up interview guide that we have prepared and that we give usually to people going in in-person interview. So we're going to share it with you, and you will see at the end of that document you have examples of questions that you might have during a telephone or an in-person interview. And there's a lot of questions for soft skills to talk about yourself. So it would probably be a good preparation if you review those questions and you try to answer them. Une question en français. À la fin de l'entrevue, est-ce que nous pouvons nous offrir est-ce que nous pouvons nous attendre à se faire offrir un petit stage dans l'entreprise juste pour démontrer ce que nous savons faire, nos compétences, et pour faire preuve de nos habiletés? Je vous dirais que lorsque vous appliquez sur des postes en ligne ou sur les sites des compagnies, les compagnies ou les recruteurs qui mettent des postes en ligne ne sont pas à la recherche de stagiaires. Ils sont à la recherche de professionnels formés en TI avec un certain nombre d'années d'expérience. Ils ne sont pas à la recherche à donner une chance à quelqu'un de pouvoir démontrer ses habiletés ou ses compétences, ou pouvoir voir si la personne peut travailler dans le domaine. Il y a d'autres, je vous dirais, il y a d'autres instances, les centres communautaires, par exemple, ou d'autres programmes qui peuvent offrir des stages pour des gens qui ont des mises à niveau à faire au niveau de leur expérience ou au niveau de leur communication. Eux sont vraiment plus dédiés à ça et peuvent vous offrir des stages. Mais je vous dirais que quand vous appliquez sur un poste via une agence de recrutement comme Abacus ou sur un poste sur un site web d'une compagnie, ils ne sont pas à la recherche à offrir des stages. Ils sont à la recherche d'un professionnel qualifié en TI qui est capable de travailler dans l'entreprise et d'apporter à l'entreprise de par son expérience. Et ce qui me fait penser de vous dire que, et j'ai oublié quand j'ai fait le résumé au début, quand vous allez en entrevue, que ce soit l'entrevue téléphonique ou en personne, apportez avec vous le professionnel qualifié et pas les migrants qualifiés. Les compagnies, les recruteurs ne sont pas là pour vous donner une chance d'avoir une expérience et de pouvoir vous donner un coup de pouce. Ils sont à la recherche de gens qui peuvent travailler dans leur entreprise avec eux pour mener des projets à bien et pouvoir faire avancer l'entreprise. Donc, ils sont à la recherche de professionnels. Vous devez arriver avec cette confiance-là. Et je vous dirais que je ne m'étalerai pas trop en large sur le sujet parce qu'on pourrait encore parler de ça pendant une vingtaine de minutes. Mais allez voir la vidéo qu'on a fait sur le professionnel qualifié versus les migrants qualifiés. Comment faire la distinction entre les deux, comment vous préparer à présenter ce professionnel-là. C'est très important pour notre marché. Ça va être très important aussi pour votre préparation. Et je crois que c'est d'autant plus important quand vous êtes toujours au Brésil pour que vous puissiez faire cette préparation-là avant d'arriver et d'amener au Québec le professionnel qualifié. After obtaining a permanent visa, does it become easier to get a job while in the person's home country, or is it best to do this in Canada? It's a very good question. I would say that it's possible to find a job remotely when you have your visa in hand and you know approximately when you would like to arrive, or you know your specific date of arrival. I would say that if you know your date, you would probably have more chances to get something remotely, an interview process remotely, if you are probably a month and a half, 2 months away of your date of arrival. Don't start to send application like too far before you will arrive to Quebec province. Probably, like I said, a month and a half to 2 months before your date of arrival would be a good timeline to start applying on positions and tell people that you have your visa. Like I said before, it's super important that it's clear in your application that you don't look for a temporary work visa, but you have already your visa in hands and you are able to start working. Like you can specify your date of arrival. If you don't know, like you say, okay, I will probably arrive like March, April 2016, do the same, start looking 2 months in advance, but be flexible for the time you can arrive in Montreal or Quebec province in general. Like it can be, because I would say that in a general basis, if an employer is starting a remote process with you, and at the end of that process, they hire you, they make an offer and they give you the job, they expect that you will start working probably 3 to 6 weeks at the maximum following the offer. So be ready for that. If your date of arrival is flexible, be flexible in the time you can start working if you get an offer. The last question that I have from the Excel sheet, and after this, I'm gonna start reading the question that David is sending me. Interviews with Francophones, are they different from interviews from Anglophone? I will say, I will answer this question by no. The only thing is different is the communication language, like French or English. And if it's a Francophone company versus an Anglophone company, they will do the process all in French or all in English, but it's only the difference that you will have in the two processes. Okay, questions. Let me check what we have. How long does the average hiring process take? Good question. I would say that from the moment that you get a phone interview till the end where you get an offer, it can be like 2 to 4 weeks. General basis, I would say. For companies, like I told you at the beginning, who have like a lot of interviews in the process, you can expect probably between 3 to 6 weeks. But on a general basis, for the companies in Quebec province, it's between 2 to 4 weeks. I would say that you can expect as an average for the hiring process. How much time before our arrival date can we begin our job search interviews? It's the same answer as the question if we can start looking for a job abroad. If you know your arrival date, you can start looking like a month and a half, 2 months before you arrive in the Quebec province. Related to the last question, can you get a job still from Brazil? Yes, you can, but I would say that it's you will get more opportunities and you can have more chances to enter interview process when you are in Canada. There's a lot of companies open to remote process, but there's much more company that they prefer to do the in-person interview, like in the company with the HR, with the technical people. There's a lot of companies following that type of process, but you have also like a good portion of company open to remote interviews. So you have nothing to lose to start looking abroad. Like just make sure you present yourself with a good CV, and for that, like review the Q&A in the video about the CV, and make sure that it's clear that you have your visa in hands and your date of arrival. And if you do all of that, you have nothing to lose to start looking remotely. And it's if you don't have any opportunities, you will continue while like you are in Montreal and so on. So in my mind, you have nothing to lose to start looking abroad. I think I covered all the questions. Did I?
How long does the hiring process take?
I answered that question. Okay,
It's possible.
I think it's
It's possible to negotiate an experiment period of 3 months, and if approved, get a higher salary after that.
it's a good question. Can you share that question with me, Adriana? We have another member of our team tonight with us. She's from Brazil, by the way. She got something very, very useful for you. So she will share with me the question, and I will tell you the question first, and then I will answer the question.
And Skype for those that are already put in Skype.
Okay. So the question is it possible to negotiate an experimental period of, say, 3 months, and if approved, get a higher salary after that? I would say that it's not a common practice in our market in Montreal, but I've been seeing that in my career in IT in Montreal. I will explain to you a bit more about my thought. So, usually the probation period in Quebec province is 3 months. So you will see that in a job offer that you have a 3 months probation period. What's the probation period? Basically, they will make sure that you are in line, and your skills and your experience and your personality, everything is a good fit with the company, you're working well and you're getting along with people within the team and so on. They have 3 months to verify that, because after the period, before 3 months, they can let you go without needed to give you any notice pay, because the notice, you need to pay it. But after 3 months, it's start to be that period where the employer may have to give you some notice before letting you go if you're not a good fit with the company. Sometimes if you go and interview, they find that you are a good fit, but they not sure about a couple of things, because, for example, you don't have the specific experience related to what they do, but you have a similar experience, so they think that you could be a good fit, and the technical test was good, so they say, okay, let's try and see. Or your communication was good, but they probably wanted to have a bit more internal communication, but they say, okay, it's enough. So if the person improves enough during the first 3 months, and when they have maybe they may tell you let's hire you and wait the 3 months, and we're gonna give you that salary because we think that right now you at that level in the company. And if after 3 months we see that you've done a lot of improvements and you are not really at that level, we will have a meeting with you, a review, and we will increase the salary of that number. It's something possible when you are in between two chairs, I would say, and they're not sure, because it's not a science to evaluate someone. You do everything's possible to evaluate. You do phone, in-person, technical tests. You do everything that you can do, but sometimes there's gray zone, and that gray zone, there's company that they're willing to accept it by giving you a 3 months probation period and reevaluating your profile after 3 months. And reevaluating can be a different title, increase the salary. It can be a lot of things, but this needs to be discussed with the company itself. Another question that Adriana shared with me: if you do not have a graduation on IT, does the company still demand for a university degree proof? The university degree, it's a great asset in our market. I would say that you will see often that in the requirements of a job posting, that university degree or anything that it's the same level as a university degree. If they ask you for a proof, they may ask you for a proof of university diploma. If they will ask you for an equivalency, probably not for the majority of the time. If you go for government or banking companies, sometimes they have rules internally that you need to have something specific regarding diploma. So this may be required, but they will do the process with you for the equivalency. And if you don't have a university degree, is it something that is it something that will block you to get a job in IT? It depends of your profile, like how strong your experience, how strong is your technical skills, your personality as well will play in that. Like it's a combination of many things, but it's possible to get a job without having a university degree, of course, but it's a great asset. The university is a great asset. So if you have it, very good. If you don't, make sure that your CV is really well done and we understand the complexity of what you've done, that we understand like how strong you experience and so on, and all like what do you have as a technical background and so on. It's super important. When you don't have a university degree, it's good to compensate with other things within your CV and make sure you express that in your CV. And when you will send an application, the recruiter, the company will understand that looking at your CV. And again, go see the CV video. It can help. Do we have other questions?
There's one more.
Colleagues?
There's one more. Are there companies that hire people in Montreal who are 30 years or over as an internship? And then after that, I promise you, en fait, la question, c'est si j'ai 30 ans en plus, est-ce que je peux me faire embaucher? So, il n'y a pas de ageism ici, il faut juste...
Someone is asking if when you have more than 30 years old, if you can be hired by a company, or you have problem because you're older than 30 years old. There's nothing related to the age over here in the Quebec market. Like companies don't do discrimination based on the age, based on the religion, based like on anything related to that. Like if you have a great profile, if you have a good experience, if you're a good fit with the company, like personality wise, technically wise, everything is good. Your age doesn't have to play in their decision. Like it's something that we really separate from the hiring process. We call this discrimination when someone discriminates you based on your age, based on your religion, based on your status, like if you're married or single and everything. Like it's not something that that comes with an hiring process. So yeah, if you have like more than 30 years old, it's like you're welcome to be part of our market. It just depends on your profile and what kind of experience you have. So is like anyone would like to share more questions, would like to know something specific? Like it's time to ask you questions. Nothing? Okay. So I will remind you again to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter and Google+, and we will follow up with you regarding that Q&A with our interview guide. We hope to be in touch with you again next year. Enjoy the rest of the day. And again, if you would like to share with us what you would like to see for next year in terms of video, in terms of documentation, information, don't hesitate to send us an email or to share anything with us by our social media channels. So have a great night and see you soon, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.